about to introduce Tracy again, who's gonna, who's gonna come back up and talk about building habits to be your best. So massive round of applause for Tracy, please.
I'm so pleased to see so many of you still here, and I'm sure that's because the promise of alcohol is looming. Because normally, in my experience of conferences at this stage of the day, everybody's going home. So I think there's a method in Darren's madness there. Really, this is our last slot of the day to, from a judo perspective, and to train you as judomaniacs. And as I said earlier, a lot of you are kind of 2/3 of the way there already. And I want to just draw you back to the pyramid that you were looking at this morning, if you can remember that long ago, and thinking about how you were replenishing and depleting your energy. And really the thing about judo is it's a philosophy, it's a way of being, it's a story, it's a conversation, it's a tribe of judomaniacs that are all striving to be their best by managing their energy really well. And we've given you a number of things. So when you look at your pyramid and think about what you wrote this morning, we gave you some rocket fuel around some treasure hunting and thinking about what was important to you to help you with your purposeful energy. And your vitality and your kind of physical energy has been helped by Nadine's nibbles today, which hopefully you've thoroughly enjoyed and will be wanting the recipe for. And there's another technique that is in your bags called what we call the optimal breathing technique. It's not actually mine, it's a very close friend and colleague of mine, a lady called Irina, who's written a brilliant book called Tired But Wired, and she specialises in sleep. So if you need some help around that area in terms of your vitality, then definitely that's a book I would recommend, and she's a great person to connect with. So your vitality, we've given you Nadine's nibbles and the optimal breathing technique, which you can practice. In terms of your focus, you might not have realised this, Jeff. Where's he gone? But your delightful riddles throughout the day will be one of those areas where your mental energy will have been recharged. So a round of applause for Jeff for working on focus, essentially without even realising it, okay? So keeping your mind active, riddles, all of that kind of stuff. For those of you that have done the gratitude wall, that will have helped you with your mental orientation, with keeping you positive, with being grateful about the things that are in your life, the way in which we view the world. And in your bags as well, you might have seen some colouring. Now, mindfulness colouring is very, very prevalent out there at the moment. Lots of people have got colouring books, adult colouring books, and we've just included a bit of that for you. That's just one way of being mindful. We're going to show you another way shortly of how to do that. So we've kind of looked at these three areas, and the area that perhaps we've spent less time on is connection. And one of the things that we do is, you know, this massive toolkit that we have as judomaniacs is forever growing. And we have different types of tools. So we have things that help you in all the different energies, and we're always looking for more. And a lot of the energies that we've shared with you today have been kind of up energies, energies that replenish through activity, through positive, kind of vibrant energy. There are a number of different ways that we can replenish our energy, and we want to introduce you to another one of those, which sits within the energy area of connection. So it's a different type of energy, and it will feel different, and it's very, very powerful. So because I am not able to deal with that power, I'm going to hand over to my esteemed colleague, Liz, who's going to take you through it.
Great stuff. I feel like a stand-up comedian now. I'm not going to do that. So, are you up for this? Yes. This is different. So this is an activity that we do on our eudaimonics programs, and we do them in some of our other purposeful leadership programs that we do. And there's two parts to this. So you just need to have your minds in gear so that you have the bits with you that you need. So the purpose of this is to notice how we can charge our energies, not just by being active. Okay, so some of this is about how we charge our energies in different ways and really connect. So the first part, don't do this yourself, I'm going to talk you through it and then ask you to do it. The first part is you're going to do this in pairs. So you can choose to stand or sit. It's quite good to stand, but it's up to you. Some of you might be more comfortable sitting. If you're standing, it helps to choose somebody of a similar height. Now, Now, who talked about the kisses and where their names? It's not going to do that. But it helps if you choose somebody of a similar height. You can absolutely choose to sit down. So you're going to do it in pairs, and do it with somebody you don't know, please, because it has more power and it's more stretching. Now, we've done this with 9, 10 and 11-year-olds, and we've done it with grown-ups. So you get into your 9, 10 and 11-year-old selves today, because they do it brilliantly and they love it. Also, what I want you to do afterwards is something else. So in your bags, you will find a pen and some love hearts. Not the phone, that doesn't come in the bag as well. Just the pen, the love hearts and a pen. And I'd like you to have those with you in your pairs. More will become obvious in a moment. It's a bit complex middle of the afternoon, this, isn't it, really? So when you get into your pairs, you're going to just have to wander around a bit and find somebody you don't know. You get into your pairs. What I'm going to ask you to do then is be with that person. Just be with them. And you're going to do that by engaging them in eye contact, and you're going to enjoy that for 2 minutes. No talking. No talking. Just be with them. Just maintain eye contact for 2 minutes. Okay, I'll tell you when we're starting. So go find your wonderful stranger you're going to be with for the next 2 minutes.
Really well, look at that man. Because he's got a smiley face.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Is there anybody who hasn't found somebody to be with? Wonderful. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on my phone, and we're going to start when I finish speaking, and just enjoy being with that person, maintaining eye contact. No speaking. No speaking. Just be with them and engage eye contact. Okay, the 2 minutes starts now. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you what that was like. Right in this moment now, before you do that, you've got a love heart in front of you. I'd like you to write 2. So you're going to write 1, what you appreciate about the person you've just been with. So I appreciate you because. And then I'd like you to write 1 that I appreciate me, because, not me, Liz, but you're telling it to yourself. So you're going to write 2 love hearts, 1 to the person you've been with. You're going to give it to them and tell them why you appreciate them. And the other one, you're going to write to yourself and share why you appreciate that about you. And then I'm going to hear about what this has been like for you. Yep, swap now and tell that person. Don't just give them the love heart, tell them why you appreciate them as well. Love hearts look great on jackets. Okay, so it's great now how you get 120 people to hear you. So you can either stay where you're standing or go sit down, preferably with the person you've been with. Want to stay standing? Happy to do that? You want to sit down? Whatever's more comfortable for you. It would be great to hear back just what that was like, because I sensed something shift in the middle of that. What was it like? Who wants to tell us what it was like? Put the lights up, Lee.
Yeah, intimate.
Intimate. Who's got the microphones apart from me? So, intimate. Yeah.
That sense of just being calm and contented in the moment, not sort of pushing against something that was perhaps slightly new and different.
Just going with it and being calm. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's quite yeah, quite emotional. Lindy says quite emotional.
Yeah. it was really hard not to speak.
Hard not to speak. And there was a little bit of going on to start with, and then there was a moment, and Tracy and I looked at each other and I had a shiver. Energy changed. I don't know if you noticed it, but observing and being here, definitely. It's a different way of connecting, isn't it? What happened to the energy in the room? So I'm seeing this, yeah? What else happened to the energy? When we finished, I said thank you, what happened to the energy then? An explosion. Yeah. Okay, you don't need to share the love hearts unless you choose to. But what was that like, appreciating somebody else that actually you don't know? You've been with them for a day, but you don't really know them. What was that like? Yes, here, thank you.
The easiest part for me was writing what I appreciate about her, writing what I appreciate about myself.
So easy to appreciate that other person. Yeah, there's a few nods for that. Interesting, isn't it? So we can appreciate somebody we don't know, and we spent 2 minutes with, and we find it hard to appreciate somebody we've known all our lives. Okay, anything else? Yeah. So equally as bad. Oh no, what good was then? Anyway, yeah. But you appreciate him for just helping you through it. And it's, you know, you've done something that is really weird. I don't know how many have even done that with the people you love most in your life. Do it with them. It's amazing. Amazing to spend those 2 minutes just gazing into the eyes of somebody you love. Whether it's a mother, a child, a partner, a business partner. It's amazing. Dog. Okay. So, okay, thanks. Anybody else want to say one thing, then we'll sit down, we're going to move on. Yes, somebody at the right at the back.
I might be wrong on this, but I believe that the Hawaiian greeting, aloha, means something like, I acknowledge the presence of yourself, and not just hello. And I had a bit of that. It's like, by looking at someone, you're acknowledging as a person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are just accepting them in that moment who they are, and I acknowledge you. Yeah, thank you for that.
I'm going to try with my bank manager.
Let's see how you get on with that one. Thank you. Thank you. Take a seat.
What's that, 20? Okay, so hopefully you would have experienced a little bit of the power of eudaimonics in that activity and the impact that it can have. And there are many more of those, and becoming a eudaimoniac is something that's kind of a lifelong journey, and we love being eudaimoniacs, and we really want you to kind of spread that word for us. And as we close, there's a couple more things that we want to do really quickly with you, and one is to tell you why this is important. So we've heard a lot of stories today about people that you have changed through the work that you've done. And Liz and I were talking over lunch about if we could choose one story, what story would that be? And there are many of them, but the story we've chosen because it absolutely demonstrates the power of Eudo, but more about the power of being and the power of trusting and the power of habits. So my story is about a child who is called Toko. She was in a primary school in Acton in West London, and we worked with her on the eudaimonics programme. She was in year 5, so she was 9 going up 10. And when we first met Toko, she didn't talk and she didn't look at us. She didn't talk and look at anyone. And that was how she was known within her class. She didn't have a voice, she didn't have a presence, and she wasn't with us. She was a very diligent academic student. She did what she was told to do. But she didn't look and she didn't speak. And we worked with Toko for 12 weeks on the eudaimonics programme, and we saw no change in her at all. She didn't look, she didn't speak, she wasn't with us for 12 weeks. And there were many points during those 12 weeks where we thought, you know what, this isn't working. You know, we can see visible changes in the adults and the leaders and some of the kids, but with just those hard to reach kids, we're just not doing it. It's just not happening for those people. And it was really frustrating. And at the end of the programme, and I don't know if Simon actually is still here, I can't see him in the crowd, but at the end of the programme we invite people that support us so people like Darren and Simon Hampel and loads of other people, to come along and listen to the stories of the Eudomaniacs. So we had a storytelling event, and Simon and a few other people were there, and Toko is there. And she had written her story, and it was beautifully neat, and it was coloured in, and it was immaculate. And up until that point, she hadn't spoken, and she hadn't looked, and she wasn't with us. And she sat down and with the rest of the people in her group and one of the advocates, and when it got to her turn, I was at a different table, Liz was at a different table, and I was just willing her to, I've got a big gob, you can probably hear me anyway without this. I was just willing her to be with us. And she sat and she told her story, and she looked at everyone around the table, and she spoke, and she was with us. And we asked her afterwards, what was that about? Why weren't you with us for all that time? Why didn't you talk? Why didn't you look? Why weren't you with us? And she just said that she'd been practicing. And that was really powerful for us because it taught us about patience and about trusting and about being with people no matter how they show up. So if you laugh, that's okay. If you cry, that's okay. If you absolutely melt in that moment, that's okay. It doesn't matter. And that's what the spirit of Yudo is all about, this philosophy of being human beings. So Toko is a story that we remember because she was just practicing until she found herself enough to speak and to look and to be with us. So when we think about just practicing, that's what we want you to do. We call that building habits. We call that thinking about what is it from today, not just if at all from what you learned from us or your fellow Eudomaniacs, but what is it from today that you want to just practice, that you want to practice being. And in your bags, you don't have to do it now, but I'd really encourage you. There's a habits cards in there, and it will ask you some questions about how you want to practice. And I would really encourage you to do that, to just practice and be a Eudomaniac. That's our story. Liz is going to finish off because we have a question for you.
Have you enjoyed connecting with us? We've really enjoyed connecting with you. It gives us energy, it boosts us up. So if you've enjoyed connecting with us, our request to you is help us connect with other people. Who can you connect us with so that we can help other Tokos, bring this sense of managing all these energies and really help people live flourishing, purposeful lives. So an invitation to every single one of you, who can you connect us with? Thank you.